guys, welcome back to the Creative Corner. This is not our usual Creative Corner, but it is where we're going to sit tonight. Kind of gave it a little bit of Halloween vibes because next week is Halloween, I believe. I don't know what I'm going to be. We're allowed to wear costumes at work, and I don't know what I'm going to be. What can I wear that won't get in the way while working in a kitchen? I was thinking fairy godmother, but the wings might be a little bit too much, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I also might just go with a scarecrow, because, I mean, that's easy, face paint. But we are going to finish up this blanket. Nope, this is not a blanket. Finish up this scarf for my nephew and do his matching one, because he wants a matching scarf for he has like a Spider-Man, like, plushie that he carries around. Spidey's, like, his favorite. And so I'm going to make him one of those. I'm also being a little quiet because it's like later at night here, and my parents are sleeping above me in this house, and I don't want to cause them to wake up, especially since they both have to work tomorrow, even though I don't have to. And so we are going to use the red one because Nick, my nephew, asked me to use the red one when I finished his. So we're going to use this, and we are using size 11 needles tonight. We're going to stick with this for the next scarf, just so you know. And I will break down the next scarf, the matching one, when we are done. But the book we are reviewing, we should have reviewed a long time ago. And I did not fill out this whole page, and I'm not going to, because we are way, way, way far behind on our book reviews. And so we are going to work our way through this one. This is the Serviceberry. First of all, I won this book from Goodreads and hadn't heard about it till then. And then it kind of just sat on my shelf for probably half a year. It sat on my bookshelf, and I was like, I want to read it, but I wasn't really motivated to read it because it was nonfiction. And I don't read a lot of nonfiction. But then a Goodreads challenge popped up, and it was one of the books on the list that you could choose from to complete this challenge. And I had an Audible credit, so I used the Audible credit to get the audiobook to read it, because I don't know if it's just me or if a lot of other people do this too, but I tend to read nonfiction books in a different voice in my head than I do fiction books. And so I end up like, I'm crocheting the end of this, by the way. I end up reading it more like a textbook than I would an actual book. And so I didn't want to go into this thinking textbook. I wanted to go into this and enjoy it because it sounded like something I would be very interested in. And ultimately, it wasn't a letdown, but it also wasn't like a big success. When I finished it, I did contact a friend and said, hey, I thought you'd like this book. I want it. Would you like it? And she and I met for coffee, and I gave her this book. So Jake, I really hope you enjoy this book. It was right up her alley. And honestly, it's right up my alley and our friend Jennifer's alley too. But it's not one that I wanted to just keep in my personal collection. It was one I wanted to share. And I actually I had just gone through all my books, right? And so I think the last time we talked, I mentioned that I just went through all my books, except the ones that are still in storage, and I'm dreading getting out. And so I didn't want to add it to my shelf. It was not one I wanted to keep, even though I really like the pages on this book. If you are going to buy this book, it is $10.99 in Kindle on Amazon and $11.99 for hardcover. I would just spend that extra $1 and get the hardcover, unless you're strictly a Kindle reader, because it's got really nice paper and it's a really good hardback back. The cover is printed straight to the book cover instead of just what's it called? It doesn't have a slip jacket, okay? And so I enjoyed this book, but it also wasn't like the best. Now, I do want to preface this going in as a reminder that I did listen to this in audiobook. I'm telling you that because that did actually affect my readability score. Usually it does not. Usually you'll see me give most books readability 4 and 5 stars no matter what. But this one, specifically audio version, got a lower score than normal for me on readability, and I will explain why later. So first off, let's start with the details. The Serviceberry is 124 pages. It is nonfiction. It is written by Robin Wall Kimler, and if I remember correctly, I had it written down in my notes, but I did not double check before the video. Robin is a Native American author, or at least has Native American ancestral roots. She mentions being related to a tribe, and I can't remember what tribe it is, okay? It was published in 2024, okay? And again, because it's important this time around, read this in audiobook, okay? So, we'll just discuss that audiobook thing right away so I can get it out of the way. When I picked it up in audiobook, most audiobooks are, you know, they're recorded, they're clear. This one was not. And I had to double check the publication date on this because I picked it up, and the first thing I noticed when I turned it on was that there was a lot of crackling in the background. A lot of crackling, and the voice was cracking. It was hard to understand at times. It honestly sounded like an old cassette tape, you know, when, if you're a 90s kid, you probably remember this. 80s definitely do. 2000 kid, you might not, because in 2000 we were burning CDs and stuff. Oh, yeah, I forgot that was on my hand. Look, it's a guy on a trampoline. My niece thinks these are hilarious, and she had us all draw one on today. So that's she calls it a boing boing. So it sounds like when you would take a cassette tape and hold it up to the radio and then record the songs on it and then play it back. There was always this like grainy kickback from it, right? So it has that in it. And I double checked, and it says this was published in 2024. And so if the book itself was published in 2024, Spook just made a weird sound, then the audio had to be done around the same time. So I don't understand why the audio quality on this video is so bad if it was professionally recorded. It may not have been professionally recorded. Maybe it was recorded in a home studio. I record my YouTube videos in my bedroom, and as you know, sometimes the quality of audio sucks, especially if it's on my computer. My computer is grainy and has very poor audio, and sometimes we get in and out audio, like it fluctuates. But this really gave the impersonation of a recording, all right? Like a double layered recording. And so I did not like that. I was not impressed. She says in here that service berries are also called calendar plants. They sounded very similar to a berry we had when I was young, like 4-ish, and lived in Lexington, Missouri. But I can't tell you for the life of me what that berry was called. I know I used to pick them and feed them to a dog, which probably was not good since I don't know what that berry was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna do 7 for his. I did 5 for his sisters, but his plushie's a little bigger. So we're gonna go with 7 stitches on size 11, all right? And I don't know what kind of yarn this is. I don't know what you call it. The person I got it from had 3 schemes of it, and they weren't labeled. But it's beautiful. And I think, like, the white yarn that's running through it is obviously a white acrylic yarn, all right? It's just a simple white acrylic. And I think that the other fuzzy one might be like a unfinished eyelash yarn that's twisted around it. But my nephew picked it up because it's super soft. So anyway, this berry, she says, has multiple names, but she refers to it as the serviceberry and the calendar plant. And a calendar berry. And she says calendar plants are plants that bloom at certain times of the year to indicate seasonal changes, which we still have. And if we abided by them and the moon, sorry, tangent, but kind of related, if you abided by calendar plants, like the cycle of calendar plants and moon cycles, you would end up with 13 months in the year instead of 12, which then would bring back your 13th zodiac sign, which got erased a long time ago. And every single month would have the exact same number of days no matter what. Like, we would have no need for a leap year. Wouldn't that be awesome? We also probably want to have a need for daylight savings time. Daylight savings time only kicked in because of farmers, so I don't know if that would be applicable to the situation. Honestly, it would depend on where those extra days fall during our seasonal shifts. But So calendar plants are meant to mark they're not, I don't know if they're meant. I didn't create the plant, all right, but they do mark the change of the seasons. They bloom at certain time periods during the year, all right? There's fall, there's ones that start this fall, spring, summer, winter, the whole thing, okay? And they mark a shift in the year, all right? It says that calendar plants help humans tell calendar plants originally helped humans to tell when to migrate and such because we aren't cold creatures. We have the ability to adjust our internal temperature by, you know, adding on clothes, taking off clothes, that kind of thing. We're not like reptiles, but the I guess the best example I could give of this, I'm not familiar with the whole world, obviously, but in early America, like there were proof of Native American tribes and Aztec tribes that would migrate during the seasons, and they had like 2 to 3 different areas, and they just go back and forth between these, and that these calendar plants would be tell them when to do that. It'd be like this flower blooms, and they go, oh, this is weather's going to come because this is in bloom, so we need to move. And it was a natural calendar, basically. These kind of plants were, and a serviceberry is apparently one of them. Then author, as I said, is Native American, I believe, and most of her knowledge about this plant seems to be rooted in Native American lore. She didn't really give any sources, so I can't tell you if this was information she just got, like, from growing up around these plants, or if she found it from someone else or not, okay? The book is obviously about serviceberries. It's about their cultural and nutritional importance on the world, people, and nature. It says that our lives are contingent on the lives of others, and the serviceberry is a example of that. What this means is she mentions that, like, it's a very circle of life thing. She mentions how the serviceberry has so much nutrition in it, and it feeds so many different people, and it helps with different illnesses and stuff. But basically, you eat the birds, and the bird's main source of food is the serviceberry, and then the serviceberry grows from the ground, which, you know, carcasses give nutrients to. So it's very circle of life, all right? Talks about our connection with Mother Earth, and a huge thing in this book, which I actually enjoyed about it, was natural economy versus corporate economy. She mentions corporate economy just a little bit, and how corporate economy sees these plants and they're like, how can we market these and how can we bottle them and sell them for big money? Where natural economy is the earth has grown this and is giving it to you because you are a person of earth, and then it is your job to return the gift by taking care of those plants and earth, all right? It's a natural circle. Other examples of natural economies would be in the exchange of free information in a digital culture. Some places like to corporatize? Yeah, that, okay? You'll see places that have firewalls up and stuff and paywalls. Like, no offense, because I know why they do this, all right? As someone who has been in publishing and stuff for quite a while, I understand why this is done. But newspapers have paywalls for all their information online. The reason they do this is because reading a newspaper in print is going out of style, and they still have to pay their workers, their journalists, their writers, the website fees, and everything, okay? But that is a charge for information, all right? Information is seen as a very wanted item nowadays. News sources do it. You pay for, when I was a kid, we had free TV. Okay, PBS was our thing. It was free TV, and we would watch it. We don't have TV in our house anymore except for from streaming services or TV that comes with our internet. Free TV has virtually disappeared, basically, because television, Hollywood, media outlets such as, I guess I probably shouldn't name them, but, you know, big name media outlets that happen in the morning or at specific times that are like 11:10 but backwards, that kind of thing, or are named after specific animals, okay? they capitalized on profiting from information in the digital age, where you also have places that information is free. Okay, you have places like Reddit and DeviantArt and I don't know if you want to count this one or not. I count it, I guess. Wikipedia, where you can get information and you don't have to pay anything for it. Likewise, information is also free at little free libraries and public libraries. Public libraries offer information on a natural economy thing. Okay, so the natural economy for a public library is basically they give you this free information, right? But then you have to return the gift by taking care of that information and returning it back to the library. There is an exchange happening. You are caring for the books. They are lending you the books, okay? But it's a natural one and it's not based on monetary value. Other examples of natural economy are potlucks. You bring food to an event. Everyone brings food to share in the event. Everyone shares the meal, but everyone brings a dish. Farmers often use natural economies. Around here, we see it a lot. Natural economies frequently pop up in times of disaster, all right? So like when hurricanes or tornadoes or something rip through towns, you see the world convert back to natural economies. Yeah, you have places out here that are like, let's fundraise, let's earn money to rebuild these buildings. But you see the rise of natural economies in the way that people start trading more. They will be like, I can bake this if you can make this kind of thing, all right? And it becomes more of a trade industry. Trade industry is the original form of economy for humans, all right? Money wasn't developed until later. I honestly still think to this day, this is my own opinion, okay? Some people disagree, but I think money is a stupid idea. I understand it in the way that job works, okay? Because like if I go to work and I work for so many hours, I do need something to compensate for that. So yeah, money, cash, works for that because then you can use it for anything. But like if I'm talking to a neighbor and I have a scarf that they want and they have an apple pie that they want to trade for it, heck yeah, I'm gonna trade for it, okay? Trading is just super easier and everyone gets what they need in that way. And you see that a lot here in the Midwest where I'm from. The Midwest has this beautiful integration of both natural and corporate economy, okay? Because our farmers take their cows to slaughter. Those cows are slaughtered. They're sold to supermarkets so that the meat can be sold, and they are exported to other states. All right, we live in Nebraska is huge. It's a beef empire, okay? And there are more cows here than people, okay? There really are. I think the last census was like there was 4 cows to every person. It's a lot, all right? And so you see that in our grocery stores charge for food because the farmers charge for it and everyone's got to get paid at the end of the day. But we also have farmer markets, and these farmer markets are really unique because you will see the farmers will have a price on things, but you will also see bartering at these farmer markets. You will see people come out and be like, hey, would you want to trade a pumpkin for that banana bread? And people will be like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Or you have free farm stands where people make so much extra of something and then it's put on that farm stand. For instance, my mom the other day was given a bag of tomatoes because someone planted a garden and they had extra tomatoes than what they wanted. And the best way to give back to your community is to hand out the extra food. And it's a natural economy. You are supporting the community by providing them with your extra amount for your extra amount of food, and then in turn that community supports you by helping you when you're in need, kind of thing, all right? And so I'm not gonna lie, a huge chunk of this book was about economy, which threw me for a loop because it's called the Serviceberry, but a huge chunk of this book was literally about natural economy, and then the other bits were about the Serviceberry. It did read very stream of consciousness. It read very much more like a journal, like she was observing a berry, and these were lessons that she learned by watching how nature interacted it with itself, and how we should return nature's bounty in a natural economy circle and a berry circle of life-ish. But it was written more like less research, more thought kind of thing. But I mean, it was good. I did enjoy it. It wasn't the worst book I've read. I could have read way worse books for this challenge. I'm not gonna lie. This challenge was all nonfiction based, so, and I already had this book, so I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna read it. So for writing, I gave it a 3. It was pretty average writing, and stream of conscious is not my favorite, okay? I like stream of conscious in certain things, but when it comes to nonfiction books, I really don't think stream of conscious belongs in there unless it's poetry or musings or memoirs, okay? If you are trying to impart factual information upon someone, this shouldn't be written in stream of consciousness. It should be written in a more academic-based approach. Stream of conscious is for more personal stuff like poetry and memoirs and things like that, blog posts, okay? That would be more stream of consciousness because it's you writing. Stream of consciousness was developed primarily by Virginia Woolf, and it is the process of writing what you think at that time, okay? It may be edited slightly just to clear out some grammatical errors, but there is no real planning to it. It's just stream of consciousness. It's what you are consciously thinking at that moment is what it is. Where academic-based literature is very thought out, very factual, very researched and validated around every corner, okay? And so in this type of book, I would have actually preferred a more academic approach than the stream of consciousness approach, but it did make the story stand out. But because of that, I am giving it a 3 in writing and a 3 in enjoyment, because it didn't read like a textbook, but it also read so musing-like she was just thinking out loud on paper, that I kind of lost interest at a few places and just kind of zoned out. And then I had to come back in and I was like, oh wait, what were we talking about again? So that enjoyment also got 3. Setting, I have to give a 5, because what am I supposed to put for that in here? It's a nonfiction book and the setting is nature, so 5. We're gonna skip readability for the moment. We'll come back to that. Plot, I gave 5. I think she had good intentions with it. I think she accomplished her goal, which was ultimately to talk about, I could be wrong, but I think her goal was ultimately to talk about the importance of giving and receiving from nature. Characters, I gave 5 because she is the character and nature is the character. So, I mean, you can't do much when you are the character. So, 5 there. But for readability, guys, that audio that audio was bad. And like I said, I didn't read this in paperback. I didn't read this in ebook. But I got the whole story, okay? And if the book was written the way it read, okay? The way all the words were read to me out loud, I would say that the readability was probably a 3 because of stream of consciousness, maybe a 4. Audio, almost got a 2. I was that mad at it. I did give it a 3 because it didn't do my pet peeve, and so I did give it a 3. I gave it a fair because it was recorded, okay? I mean, like, the person was reading it and they read the book and I got the whole book. The only bad thing was the audio quality. I don't know what sound booth they used for this or whatever, but the author should consider switching up tactics if she does another audio book, is what I would say for that. So when I added all those up and divided by 6, we got a flat 4. There was no points involved, no decimals. It was just a flat 4. And so obviously no rounding had to occur, and this is a 4-star book and 124 pages. So I didn't fill out any of the other sides, so let's look at it real quick. What do you think of this book? What will you take from it? I think we already discussed that. What was the aim of the book? How well did the author fulfill it? We did talk about that. Would you recommend this book to otters? No, I don't recommend this book to otters. I don't think otters would find this book interesting. Honestly, if an otter can read, maybe they would. I mean, I'm not going to judge the otter's taste. I really feel like an otter would probably pick up more of a book like a thriller or an espionage thing because they're little devious little things. But no, I wouldn't recommend this book to otters. I would recommend this book to others. Ashley, girl, come on. Obviously I would. I gave this book to my friend Jake. Did you see that fly? That was weird, right? Anyway, yeah. So I would recommend it to people who like learning about natural medicine and natural circles of life and stuff. Think not necessarily your manifestation girlies, but your healthy living girls, your Reiki girls, your alternative medicine girls, yeah, think people who like nature and like exploring the natural cycle of life kind of thing, they would like this. I did enjoy it, but my enjoyment was mid. I'll give it that. One sentence book review of, I don't know, a stream of conscious retelling, no, not retelling, a stream of conscious dive into the Serviceberry and the lessons we can learn from it. There you go. There's your one sentence review. So I don't know if I placed the review on Goodreads yet. I kind of have been lacking on that. I'm sorry. I went through the stunt where I really didn't want to read for you guys. That's it. It felt like a chore to even record a video. And so I picked up a few books, and one of them you're not even going to know about. Like, I'm not even going to review it just because I wanted to read a book for myself and myself alone. And just for the enjoyment of it. And so I just listened to the book while I colored and did not take any notes. But there are other ones that I've just been keeping notes in my phone, and then I gotta transfer them all over here because I've been listening to it on my phone, and so it's easier just to open my note app on there and take them on there while I'm coloring or knitting or playing Farmville, because Farmville is my reward lately for doing adult things. Okay, it was my reward in high school for homework, and now it's my reward if I do laundry or go to work. In fact, after this video, I gotta go check on my crops, because I planted a bunch of eggplants last night. Right, Pokey Poo? So anyway, that is the Serviceberry, and hopefully we'll get another book review done within a couple days, because like I said, we are super behind on them. The next book review, am I turning the page? Am I gonna find blankness? Oh, I didn't find blankness. How nice is that? Yo, guys, I thought we reviewed this book. Shoot, we are further behind than I thought we were. Where's my ink finger? We are way further behind than I thought we were. I need to start conking out these things. The next book we're going to review is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. And you are in for a wild ride with that one. What's after that one? Oh. We're going to skip that one. A Drop of Corruption, we're going to skip. I'm going to mark it off and say that we technically did it, just so you know, because we're going to not do it. I started the book and DNF'd the book before 40%, and I don't feel like I can give an accurate review with it being at 40%. It is another one I picked up for a challenge. I did mark it as read so that I could get the challenge, but I lost interest, and I'm not going to go into huge detail of it because obviously we're skipping that one. But basically, it is something. All right, it's written by Robert Jackson Bennett, and it reads like an Agatha Christie book, but in a fantasy/sci-fi world. I don't know if this is supposed to be fantasy or alternate history or what it's supposed to be. It's like England, but monsters are real kind of thing, or Ireland. What the heck is that? Ireland, or monsters are real. And I didn't get very far into it because the language being used and the Christie type language with this genre didn't mesh well with me, and I honestly did not like it. it wasn't for me, and so I didn't meld well with the book, so I just DNF'd it. And so maybe you will go pick it up if you want to try it, but we're gonna skip over that review because it's a DNF, so it doesn't have a review. On Goodreads, it has a 3-star because it's a DNF, and when I DNF a book, in order to mark it as finished, they want you to review it, and so I just give it a 3 because a 3 is average and it's flat in the middle. Don't come at me, okay? 3 is not a bad review, all right? There are authors out there who throw a hissy fit when they get a 3-star review, but let me tell you, it is not a bad review. It is average, okay? 5 is excellent, 4 is really good, 3 is I liked it, 2 is it's all right, I guess, and 1 is I'll never read it again. That's how I used to break it down to my 5th graders when I taught them in library class, all right? So 3 is just your average book. It's all right. It's not superb, but yeah. And so it just got that because DNF'd, all right? And if you don't know what DNF is, first of all, hi, welcome to the channel. We talk about books, and I use that term fairly regularly. I can't talk, guys, not tonight. DNF means did not finish, all right? So, yeah. So, that is my take on the Serviceberry. If you've read it, let me know below what you think. Or let me know, what's your take on the economy? Do you think that we should... I don't know how much drama I want to start in the comments today. We're going to skip that question, okay? If you lived in a natural economy where you traded things for other things, what would be the product that you would trade? What's something that you can make or something that you can bake or something that you would trade? Let's talk about that. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this video, and hopefully we'll have another review of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson coming up shortly. Bye, guys, and have a great and fabulous day.